Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for August 16, 2014, around 7:30 in the morning in Billerica, Massachusetts. Going to be another nice and sunny day. Going to be in the 70s. Some news to report. It's tax-free weekend in the Bay State of Massachusetts. Any big ticket item under $2,500 is exempt from the 6.25 sales tax in Massachusetts, but there's exemptions. It's not going to be tax-free for like tobacco products and cars and also restaurants, going into restaurants, but that's a shame. One of these days I hope there's a meals tax-free weekend in Massachusetts. Also, some news to report. The Boston Red Sox lost to the Houston Astros by a score of 5-3 in 10 innings, and the New England Patriots beat the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 42-35 in preseason action. But the preseason is the Stars do not play the entire game. They just maybe play a quarter, and that's about it. And also notable deaths today. Baseball Hall of Famer outfielder pitcher Babe Ruth died 66 years ago today in 1948 at the age of 53 of throat cancer. And 37 years ago today, singer, actor Elvis Presley, the King, passed away at the age of 42. And Elvis is one of the most famous singers of all time, and one of my former co-workers at Hard Hanks, Bruce Cronin, is a big fan of Elvis Presley, and he's also a big fan of the New York Yankees. Okay, my first video subject of the day is about the top 10 players of all time for the Calgary Flames. The Calgary Flames came into the National Hockey League in 1972, and they played in Atlanta. And they played in Atlanta for about 8 years, but they didn't draw too big of crowds in Atlanta. They made the playoffs constantly, but they didn't get the crowds, and they had lack of television money and radio money. So in 1980 they were sold and moved to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and then they became one of the NHL's greatest teams. They have had a long rivalry with their province sister city of Edmonton. They've had many great games and playoff series. The Flames actually made the Stanley Cup Finals in 1986, but they lost to the Montreal Canadiens. And then in 1989, they made the Stanley Cup Finals and won the Cup against the Canadiens. During the 1990s and early 2000s, the Flames had serious problems, like they were endless rebuilding. There were rumors that because of the weak Canadian dollar that they were going to be forced to move out of Calgary. I think that there was a top on some seats in the Calgary Saddle Dome. But in 2004, they made an unexpected run to the Stanley Cup Finals, coming within one game of winning this Cup Finals. They should have won that Cup in 2004, in my opinion, but the Lightning won it instead. And ever since, the Calgary's been competing pretty good, and they made the playoffs a few times, but they always falter in the first round and stuff. And it's doing another rebuilding process, but I think they could break through this year and make the playoffs because they have a talented team. And okay, here's the top 10 players of Calgary Flames history. Number 10 on the all-time list is Kent Nilsson. He played for the Calgary Flames for about 6 years. He's a center. He scored 229 goals, 333 assists for 562 points. He's number 10 on the all-time list. Number 9 on the all-time list of greatest Calgary Flames players, defenseman Gary Suter. Gary scored 128 goals and 437 assists for 565 points. He was the 1986 Rookie of the Year in the NHL Calder Award. He was a great defenseman. He's underrated, in my opinion, and there's consideration if he should be a Hall of Fame or not, but that's another discussion for another day. Number 8 on the all-time list of greatest Calgary Flames players of all time, Gary Roberts. Gary Roberts was a left winger for the Flames. He played several years for them, scored 257 goals, 248 assists for 505 points, and he comes in at number 8. Number 7 on the all-time list of greatest Calgary Flames players of all time, Theo Fleury. Theo Fleury's scored 364 goals, 466 assists, and 830 points, and he's second on the all-time points list for Calgary Flames history, and he was captain of the team for a few years. He comes in at number 7. Number 6 all-time is goaltender Miri Kaprizov. He's the winningest goaltender in Flames history. He won the 2006 Vezina Trophy as best NHL goaltender. He was a very great goaltender, probably one of the top 5 goaltenders in the NHL during the 2000s, and he might get some Hall of Fame consideration when he comes up in 2016. He's number 6. Number 5 all time of the greatest Calgary Flames players of all time, Mike Vernon. Mike was the second winningest goaltender in Flames history. He led the Flames to the 1989 Stanley Cup Championship, and he had 2 stints with the Flames, and his number 30 is retired by the Flames. And Mike is another one of these goaltenders that should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but he has got little consideration for it. But you never know if he'll make the Hall of Fame. Number 4 on the all-time list of greatest Flames players, defenseman Al MacInnis. Al played for the Flames for close to over 10 years, scoring 213 goals, having 609 assists for 822 points. He's third all-time in scoring, and his number 2 has not been retired by the Flames, which is a shame because he was probably the greatest Flames defenseman of all time. Number 3 on the all-time list for greatest Flames players of all time, Lanny McDonald. Lanny scored 215 goals in the Flames uniform. He was the captain of the Flames when they won the Stanley Cup in 1989. That was his last game he ever played, once winning the Stanley Cup and holding it up high. He comes in at number 3, and his number 9 is retired by the Flames. Number 2 on the all-time list of greatest Flames of all time, Joey Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk scored 314 goals, 302 assists for 616 points. He had 4 40-goal seasons. He was a 1988 NHL Rookie of the Year. In his first 2 NHL seasons, he scored back-to-back 50 goals. And his number 25 should be retired by the Flames. And number one on the all-time list for the greatest Flames players of all time, Jarome Iginla. Jarome was the star of the Flames for many years during their down period. He scored 525 goals, 570 assists, 1,095 points in a Flames uniform. He was a team captain. He led the NHL in scoring in 2002. He's two times he led the NHL in goals, and he scored 50 goals twice. He should have won the MVP award in 2002 for the NHL, but the Flames didn't make the playoffs that year, and if you don't make the playoffs in the NHL, they tend not to give you the MVP award. And his number 12 is probably going to be retired by the Flames one of these days. And that's about it for that. And tomorrow, my continuing series of the greatest NHL players of all time from team by team, I'm going to talk about the Hartford Whalers / Carolina Hurricanes. Monday's going to be the North Stars, and Tuesday is going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's going to be about it for the teams that won the Stanley Cup. Then I'm going to have to start doing the rest of the teams that not won the Stanley Cup. It's going to be hard to get some of the players. Who's the top 10 greatest players for franchises like the Predators, the Panthers, the Blue Jackets, Thrashers / Jets, but I'll come up with the names. And the next blog I'm going to do today is the second one. It's going to be about CBS Sports play-by-play announcer / host Greg Gumbel, and it's going to be interesting. Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye.